There's this group of Russian Christians who, when asked where their icons of God were, would knock a hole in the wall and say, there is your icon. They were known as the hole worshipers, and they believed that the only image that could help you understand God was no image. For them, the primary requirement for approaching God in worship was simply making space. It is this theme we see throughout the Old and New Testament scriptures. After commanding the Israelites to not make any images in Exodus 20, most of the rest of Exodus are commands to make all these images. We call this the tabernacle, and it was to be filled with all these icons that spoke of God's presence: lampstand, basin, curtains, vestments, ark. But only one thing in all the tabernacle artifacts was meant to focus one's attention on God. It is this from Exodus 25. Have them make an ark of acacia wood, overlay it with pure gold, make an atonement cover of pure gold, and make 2 cherubim out of hammered gold. There, above the cover between the 2 cherubim that are over the ark of the covenant law, I will meet with you. In the midst of all the gold and fine linen and beautiful woods and tablets of covenant, God invites the people to meet him in the absence, in the space. Because sometimes you have to make a space to receive the sacred. Sometimes our family practices a tech-free day. No screens, no electricity, no cars, which means we're stuck at home with each other all day. I thought this might be difficult for my kids, but they love it. It turns out that I have the hardest time with it. And so sometimes I find myself just staring out our back window. And on one of those occasions, a hawk flew in low right under the window. I was able to see its back, the color on its head, its effortless glide into a nearby tree. I'm sure this must happen most days in our neighborhood, but there was only one day where I'd made the space to receive it. Jesus and the early disciples talk about this making space as a way of life, a work of discipleship. But they take it much further, push far deeper than turning off a smartphone and sighting a hawk. Jesus put it like this from Matthew 5:29 through 30. If your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it out and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into Gehenna. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to go into Gehenna. Subtraction is an integral part of addition when it comes to a life of following Jesus. Paul tackled it with less imagery and more specificity from Ephesians 4:25 and following. Therefore, each of you must put off falsehood. Anyone who has been stealing must steal no longer. Do not let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouths. Unwholesome, by the way, is the word sapros, where we get the word septic. Stop spewing sewage out of your mouth is the image here. Paul follows each of these things up with speaking truthfully, doing good work, building others up. His message is clear. In order to be about the way of Jesus, some things are going to have to go. You're going to have to make a new space. Which leads us to this passage in the ancient prophet Habakkuk. He is going to tell us to get rid of our idols. Habakkuk 2:18 and 19. Of what value is an idol carved by a craftsman? Woe to him who says to wood, come to life. Idols are those things that take the place of God, that fill in the spaces where God would reside in our being. And Habakkuk, we'll discover in the context of his book, is talking about a very particular kind of idol. Habakkuk, in fact, prefaces this idolatry in this way. Habakkuk 1:11. Then they sweep past like the wind and go on, guilty people whose own strength is their God. Here is Habakkuk setting us up to look beyond ourselves to the powerful we put our hope in, the empires we idolize at the expense of the one true God. Because making space isn't simply for our own hearts, it is for the whole world. And so we journey with this and the other prophets in allowing them to challenge us to make room in our hearts and in our homes and in our nation and in our world for God to reign and be the center again. Let us listen to the challenge to make space again, to worship the God who reigns and whose reign is a reign of grace. Where do we need to make space? What do we need to prune? What do we need to cut out? Who are we truly putting our trust in? Who are we truly worshiping?